Well, folks, as I now officially stopped crying and grieving over Blaney's elimination in heartbreaking fashion at Martinsville Speedway, it is now finally time to see your championship for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. And we have the two Joe Gibbs Racing teammates, Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe, and the two Hendrick Motorsports drivers, William Byron and Kyle Larson. And as you can see, you guys see it too. I don't see a single Ford participating here in the championship four. They all missed it. All the Fords have missed out on the big show. First time since 2021. And this field actually is kind of similar because I think we sort of had that in 2021, I believe. It's all the same numbers, except the 19 was driven by Martin Truex, and it wasn't William Byron that made it into the championship four. So this is kind of almost similar to what we saw in 2021. But nonetheless, this is the year 2025, so we're going to focus on this year. And I do have the stats, for each driver, and I'm going to review them one by one, and we're going to see which one who I think has the best opportunity to bring home the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. So let's take a look here. All right, first off, we have Denny Hamlin. What a stellar season it's been so far with 6 wins, including that win at Las Vegas that locked him into the championship four. He has a 13.5 average finish, which may not sound good, but as a matter of fact, is the second best average finish compared to all of these 4 drivers here. But in Phoenix, however, though, in the past 10 races, he has an average finish of 10.4, and his career best finish is a 10.5 average finish. He does have 2 wins here at this track, his last being in 2019. His average start this year is a 12.4. He has led 816 laps, and as a matter of fact, that's the least amount of all the 4 drivers here in this field. So that is a little bit concerning, but on the bright side, you can at least see him in contention almost every week. So that's a bit of a plus sign, so he can participate for points and every week. But obviously this week, points do not matter. It's just who finishes up ahead of these 3 drivers. And 14 top 5s, 17 top 10s for Denny Hamlin this year. And as I'm taking a little look right here, Denny Hamlin has the second best amount of top 5s, the third best amount of top 10s out of all the 4 drivers. So that's a bit of a decent stat line right there. However, though, when we came to Phoenix last year, he almost won the thing. He got beaten out by his teammate Christopher Bell and finished home in the 2nd place position. And obviously, Denny Hamlin was the driver that was the highest finisher in the spring race compared to all 4 of these. And I would say that Denny Hamlin has a decent shot, but like I said, Denny Hamlin, he is known for fumbling the bag. And, of course, 6 wins, we've seen that in 2020. And when he made the championship for 3 years in a row in 19, 20, and 21, but was unable to get the trophy after he finished like 4th 2 times and 3rd 1 time. But he's finally back here now, and he does have an opportunity here. But I personally believe that if Denny Hamlin doesn't get this championship, this could very well be his very last opportunity to even compete for that championship. So I think he's got one last shot, he's got one last shot to finally get that exclusive championship. But I personally don't think that if he doesn't win this championship, he won't have an opportunity for that again. But, Denny Hamlin has been red hot all playoffs. So just be on the lookout for that because, you'll never know what's going on about Denny because, of course, most of the races you didn't think he was going to win. He does. So we'll see how he does there. All right, 19 of Chase Briscoe. Yeah, that was a lot of talking for Denny. All right, so Chase Briscoe has had a stellar season, and he's really exceeded my expectations. As a matter of fact, I had both of these guys out of the 2025 playoffs, in my early season playoff predictions. Right before the season even started, I had these 2 out of the championship. I even had these 2 out of the playoffs entirely. But what do you know? Both of these guys are now racing for a championship at Phoenix next week. But Chase Briscoe, man, what his season's been so far. An 11.7 average finish, the best compared to all four of these drivers. So that's a great advantage right there. And of course, he has 3 wins so far this year. However, though, his average finish at Phoenix, 15.6. And that is the worst compared to all four of these. He has the best average finish all year compared to all four, but has the worst average finish compared to all four of these at Phoenix combined. He does have that one win. That was back in 2022, and that was when, ironically enough, he got that first Cup Series win. He does have an average start of 9.8, which that's also the best compared to all four of these. Because of course he has like, I don't know, like 7 poles or something like that. I don't know. He's got like the most poles out of anybody. So he does have 881 laps led, which that's the second worst compared to everybody here. He does have 15 top 5s and 19 top 10s, which is, if I'm looking correctly, that is actually, he has the second best amount of top 10s compared to everybody, and the best amount of top 10s compared to everybody with 15 top 5s. So I personally say that Chase Briscoe definitely does have a shot here, but of course Phoenix has not been one of his best tracks. Not to mention that he went down early in the spring race, so I don't know, he could have a chance. But like I said, Phoenix has been very, very tough on him. It's not been a great track for him personally. So, well, we'll see what he does here. That's a bit disadvantage because Phoenix is not one of Chase Briscoe's best tracks. But he has proved that he is capable of winning races this year. And this has honestly been a stellar season for him. And honestly, a career high for many of his stats for Chase Briscoe. Alright, now for our most recent winner that just locked himself in with the win at Martinsville earlier today, William Byron. A 14.3 average finish in 2025. That is the worst average finish compared to all four of these drivers here. But however, though, he does have the best average finish at Phoenix with an 8.0. He does have that one win at Phoenix, though. That was back in 2023 in the spring. He does have an average start of 10.1. He has led 974 laps, the second most amount. He does have the least amount of top 5s compared to everybody, which that being a 10. And the least amount of top 10s compared to everybody here. So he has the least amount of top 5s and top 10s compared to all four of these drivers here. And it's kind of weird because as we take a look back early, very on in the season, he won the Daytona 500. That's how he got into the playoffs. He won the Daytona 500, and after that, he kind of fell off like a rock. I mean, he has been red hot, but he has been mediocre. It's like, in the first half of the season, after the Daytona 500, he started falling off. Like, he was slowly, coming off the rails. He was derailing, and the performances was just, I don't know, it was very alarming to me, but throughout the playoffs, before the playoffs even began, he started, like, he was red hot, back to red hot like that immediately, because it was close to the playoffs, and it was go time right there for William Byron. So, yeah, not a bit surprised seeing William Byron there. He has been red hot throughout the whole entire playoffs. I personally think he does have a shot. He does have 3 wins. Obviously, that was the Daytona 500, and he finished 6th in the spring, so, He does have, I mean, the average finish is definitely not a great stat line, but yeah, anything can happen still. I mean, like, because we've saw that many times from, like, Joey Logano, so we might have the same thing happen again, but yeah, just be aware William Byron has the worst average finish compared to all four of these, but not the worst average finish compared to everybody. So that's the best news. So all right, finally, let's move on to Kyle Larson. Oh, this was going to be a tough one because obviously we know he had 3 wins early on in the season. And his last win came at Kansas all the way back in May. And then after that, it's been Kyle Larson definitely derailed off the tracks right after that win at Kansas. Like, he does have a 13.7 average finish, which that is the second the second worst. No, actually, it's the second best average finish for everybody. So that's a good note. He does have that one win at Phoenix, which ironically enough, that's when he won the 2021 championship. His average finish at Phoenix as altogether is a 10.7. Average start is an 11.6. However, though, if you take a look right here, 1,106 laps led throughout the whole entire season, 13 top 5s, and 20 top 10s. And we take a look here, the amount of top 5s that he has right now currently, is the second worst compared to everybody in the field. But he does have the most amount of top 10s compared to everybody in the Championship 4 field at 20. He has 20 top 10s throughout the whole entire season. Throughout the whole entire season. He finished third in the spring. And he has 3 wins, obviously, this year, like I said. And now, as I look at the stats, I've already come up with an answer already. And ironically enough, this was the driver that I also picked to be the champion right before the playoffs begin. So, Chase Briscoe, as much as I want to see you succeed, I am very sorry. This is not the best strat for you. Obviously, the worst amount, 15.6 average finish at Phoenix. That, honestly, I personally don't think Chase Briscoe, is going to have that capability, to at least win the championship. But he might be in contention, but he will be oh so close, man. Like, seriously. As much as I hate that for the 19 of Chase Briscoe, his stats to me at Phoenix has not been the greatest. So, I'm sorry, Chase Briscoe. You may win the pole, but I think the only reason he can win the championship is that he starts on the pole again. But we'll see what happens in Phoenix. But I personally don't think Chase Briscoe has the best stats compared to everybody because he has the worst at Phoenix. So, great stats all year long, but just not great stats at this stretch in particular. And Denny, listen, man, like 6 wins, second best average finish. He's gonna fumble it again. Like I've seen it many times. Denny Hamlin's just gonna fumble the bat again. Like we've seen that many times before. I mean, he's gonna come up so short. He's gonna come up short once again to get that first inclusive championship. And as much as I don't want to do that for Denny, like personally, like his stats have not been the greatest. I mean, I wouldn't say his stats are terrible. Like I said, 13.5 average finish, a 10.6 career average finish at Phoenix. But listen, man, these two have been red hot all playoffs long. And I personally believe that these two has the best opportunity to win the championship. But who do I think will actually win the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion? I picked him right before the playoffs begin. You may have saw it on my TikTok. But Kyle Larson, you have a shot. You may come up a little bit short. So that means I predict that the 24 of William Byron is going to become the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion next week at Phoenix. Like, come on. An 8.0 average finish at Phoenix Raceway. The best of everybody here. William Byron is mad good at Phoenix. He is very good at Phoenix. Obviously, he won the pole in 2023, I believe. And he was this close to end up winning that year's championship right before Ryan Blaney came into play. But yeah, there you have it, guys. I have William Byron winning the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series championship next week at Phoenix. So, we reached the end of the line. I still cannot believe that the season is almost over. And, obviously, post-race inspection has not been completed yet. But if anything happens, and if there's any disqualifications, and if there's any changes in the playoff field, I will definitely update this again. So, but yeah, there you go, guys. I have William Byron as the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion. We'll see how things play out at Phoenix.